Hello gamers, welcome back to Cursed on Late Night Gaming here in Area 18 of Star Citizen. Today I thought we would take a comprehensive look at the Cutter series with the Rambler just being released. It's kind of a surprise actually. I thought we'd start from the beginning. Let's take a look at the Cutter series and look at the differences. And unfortunately I don't have a team of people. So we're going to just be looking at at them one at a time instead of having them all together. This is the Drake Cutter, the default model in its default skin. Normally I run a bunch of different skins. Usually the Groundswell is the livery I run with, but this is the default. And there is of course the spoiler that says this is a Cutter. It's not a Rambler. It's not a Scout. And then, of course, the thrusters also are a telltale sign because sometimes those spoilers get broken off. Now, we're outside of the Area 18 spaceport, so it could get a little loud with people flying over. But that's a yellow tinted glass. I actually like the skin of the default Cutter. But of course the main feature that the main thing is inside. So opening up the back of the default Cutter, we have 4 SCU slots. So those are 2 SCUs stacked too high. So there are 4 in here. You can of course stuff more in here. But the problem with the Cutter series in general is that once this bay is full to the brim, you can't get out. Or opposite, you can't get in to pilot the ship. So that's the suck. It's not... you're not able to really overstuff it like you are, say, a Vulture, where you can get out the front cockpit, or like a Titan, where you can get out the front. There's one way out, and it's through here. So that's the one unfortunate thing. Now, this is the living quarters of the base Cutter. There's nothing wrong with this. I mean, especially when you consider the gameplay of what a living quarters needs to fill, which is nothing. You could use, there's the bed, and that's about all you need. They have over here, we have our bathroom with the extendable toilet. I think this closes, comes out. Oh, okay, comes out. And of course the sinks and stuff, nothing is functional. So this is all just for pretty, you know. And here is a few, I don't know, spaceship stuff. I don't know what you call this. More over here. This is where the storage is. Everyone thinks it's under the bed. That's not this ship. That is the Drake, I believe. The Drake Corsair has the space under the bed. And then the cockpit of all of them is identical. We have some components on this side, and then we have some gun slots on this side. And this space is identical. Like, I believe these can be put in here, I believe. I really thought they could. Yes, they can. There. So that's kind of cool. I want it back, please. But other than that, it's got a regular like machine gun type of bay and a big gun bay, like a rail gun. And then the components up here, everything's the same here. So if you're familiar with the Cutter series, this is always the same. One other thing to note before we tie things up here with the base cutter, let's look at the headlights, because that's a difference in some of them too. We've got the let me just look here. Yeah, so we've got the Rambler has like big spotlights on the top. This does not. This is the base that has these headlights, and of course every cutter has VTOL mode. Those engines spin up and rotate so that you can go up and down. All right, let's now take a look at the Scout. Okay, everyone, we're back here in Area 11, actually, because we needed some sunlight. So we're over here on Area 11, looking at the Cutter Scout. Here is the Scout. Of course, it has the same kind of lighting and front end as the base cutter. The big difference being the spoiler is different. Of course, it has the scanner on the top. And then it has some different thrusters than the base cutter. This is in its default skin, which I think looks really nice. Red tinted glass. Okay, so the big differences of the Scout is that it only holds 2 SCU instead of 4. And that's because of the scanning device here on the wall. The living space is identical to the base cutter, and the cockpit area is identical to the base cutter. So the only thing you're gaining here is the scanning device, which has no gameplay at the moment, and you're losing 2 SCU. Now the door is more centralized than the other cutter because of the scanning equipment, I guess. I don't really know that they had to do that. I think personally they could have kept the 4 SCU and kept the door where it was and just had the scanning device here. I don't think that would have really been a problem. But yeah, that's the situation with the Scout. If we look at the device here, let's see. All right, it's turned on, and yeah, it's just scanning stuff, you know. I don't really think there's a whole lot of gameplay here yet. Right now it is just the base ship devices. Power off, power on. And then I think this is exit. That's what you get. So at the moment, with scanning the way it is, I don't know if I would choose the Scout. Honestly, you lose 2 SCU. Everything else is identical. All right, so the next in the family is the Rambler. That does have some changes to the interior. Yeah. Again, we'll do a side-by-side, a picture side-by-side comparison. I don't have multiple hands to have lots of ships here, so that'll happen when we get a hangar, right? We can put our ships in it. Okay, we'll be back with the Rambler. All right, I'm back in Area 11 again with the Cutter Rambler. Here is the Rambler and its default skin. You can note that it has big giant bug-eyed spotlights at the top, which I think is really cool. Really gives it that kind of RV type of feel. I like the skin, the bluish metal is cool. And then the rumor has it that big giant thing on top is extra fuel storage, although right now that doesn't seem to be the case. I think it just looks cool. It makes it look like it's more of an Explorer. Aesthetically, I think it works. And this has different thrusters as well as the other two. And it also has its own little unique spoiler on the back. Now, unlike the Scout, the Rambler has some significant differences. I personally wish they would have extended it to still support 4SCU, because when you think of something with long haul, it needs supplies, and it seems like 4SCU would have been good. But it is also just 2 SCU. Okay, let's take a look inside. As you can see, the cargo area is significantly smaller. Here is where the 2 SCU go, right where it says cargo area. And so for what it is sacrificed, so cargo, being able to haul cargo is useful. It's in-game now useful. Living space is kind of a gimmick. Now it has extended its weapon slots, so there's more places to put weapons, because you still have those up here in the main cockpit. So it's extended that, and it's added a suit closet, which honestly currently doesn't have any gameplay. We've got the same bed and whatever these spaceship things are, but we've added a table and a seat you can sit on here, and we've added a seat here. You can open this up, and they moved the bathroom around so that the bathroom's facing this way now, but it's the same bathroom. But this whole space here that they've sacrifice cargo space for currently is just a gimmick. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I want living space. You don't really live in the game. There's no food here. You know what I mean? Right now, it's all kind of a gimmick. Here's the storage space that all the cutters have. So it's really cool. I like the way it looks. I don't know that if I was to buy a starter ship that I would choose this, because although it looks like, oh, it's, got more space, you don't use it for anything. For real actual gameplay right now, you want that SCU space. So that's why I still would recommend the base cutter over all these other variants. So this is the standard cockpit that all cutters have. It's a nice space. I enjoy it. They all have this little gimmick here. I think it is right here, deploy. That shuts the blast shield on the side, so that if you look from the exterior now, we have a little shield closed in the back next to the glass here. That doesn't increase your armor in any way. It is simply a gimmick kind of thing. See here, we'll open it back up so you can see the difference. Now we have the glass on the side there. So it really doesn't do anything. It's just a fun little thing, and it really just blocks your view. If we turn the lights on, you can see that this cutter has the base front plus the top, which right now doesn't add any luminosity to anything. It doesn't add it over the base cutter. I've seen this tested and it doesn't change anything. If we power up the engines here, you can see we have VTOL mode, which all of them have. They've all got the same, according to their website. If you look at all the variants, they all have the same Bulldog size 1 weapons. They're gimbaled. But they do not have any variance between them. They do, however, have different missiles. But you're in a cutter, you're not going to be out there doing dogfights. That's not what this ship is about. It's a base ship. You could probably get lucky sometimes, but that's not what this ship is for. Okay, so let's do a review of some side-by-sides. Let's do a side-by-side comparison starting with the base cutter. Here is the front of the base cutter. As you can see, it has the standard headlights. Really, it's indistinguishable from the Scout from the front. So let's switch to the Scout now. Here is the Scout. You can see it's basically exactly the same. The same front end, the same everything. The only thing you can tell the difference is the little scanner thing on the top. Other than that, the same headlights, same everything. Now let's take a look at the Rambler next to it here. Now the Rambler has some obvious differences. The Rambler has that big compartment at the top that's rumored to be a gas reservoir. I don't know that it is. And then it also has those kind of fog headlights at the top that distinguish it from the others. Next up, I thought it'd be fun to look at the thruster differences between the three variants. Here you see the basic cutter. It has the big thruster and then the little tiny one there. The little one doesn't switch to VTOL mode, but the bigger one does. And now with the Scout, you can see they added an extra thruster, so it has two smaller ones and then the standard one on the side. This seems to be the theme that every time they do a new iteration of the Scout, they add a additional thruster. As you see here, as we switch to the Rambler, what looks like actually the Rambler adds another one. So we have two medium size, much like the Scout, and then two little ones on the side of that, and then plus the standard one on the side of the ship that does not switch to VTOL mode. Let's look at the spoilers now. Alright, here we are with the standard cutter spoiler. You can see it has the two fins on the back. That's one of the easiest ways to distinguish this from the other variants. However, they often are broken off, I've noticed. Let's take a look at the Scouts. Hopefully it doesn't break off as easy. Okay, here's the Scout. It's kind of a wraparound spoiler. When I first saw it, I kind of akined it to kids putting a spoiler on their Honda Civic. But yeah, it's unique and pretty cool. Let's look at the Rambler. Alright, the Rambler kind of has these side spoiler things. I didn't get the best shot of it there, but they kind of hang off the sides. But definitely three distinct differences between the variants. Another easy way to tell which is which. Moving on to things that actually matter is the cargo space. So the cutter has the 4 SCU cargo space. As you can see, the door is more off to the side. It doesn't have the scanning area, but it's got all the components there. I don't know where the components actually go on the Rambler because it shortens it so much. But yeah, this is the standard cutter. And then if we move on to the Scout, you can see here we've lost some cargo space. It's just got the room for the one SCU spot that you can stack. So it's 2 SCU total. The door has been centered. When you look at the two next to each other, I still say that the door could have stayed where it is from the standard cutter and made enough room for the scanner and for SCU. Because, scouting is just not enough. If you're going to do scanning and stuff, that's just not enough. It would be great to have those 4 SCU in this ship as well. It would have been so much more versatile. And then to remove even more versatility, let's look at the Rambler next. Okay, here we've got even less cargo space. So we're still at 2 SCU, but they've reduced it so much that we couldn't even fake it by stuffing more in there. Which was really strange. I would have thought with an explorer ship they would have, if anything, added more. But we're down to 2 SCU, and so instead of having 4 on the cutter, 4 on the scout, and 2 on the Rambler, because they could have put 4 on the scout, we just have 4 on the cutter and 2 on the scout and 2 on the Rambler, which kind of sucks. All right, everyone, so here we are successfully back on the ground with our base cutter. This is just the my base cutter in the Groundswell livery. That's my favorite one. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think I would recommend someone who's brand new to the game. I don't see any reason for them to get any of the other cutter variants. You're going to want to, make some money, and the only way to do that is going to be hauling cargo. If this is what the base ship you're going to choose as a cutter, you're going to want to haul cargo. That's what it is good at. That's what it does. It's not a fighter. So you're going to want those 2 extra SCUs. And the living space, to me, and right now the radar in the Scout is just kind of a gimmick, in my opinion. It's kind of gimmicky. I mean, the living space in the base cutter is just fine for someone that's just starting out in the game, because this is essentially a starter ship. So why do you need that extra living space? It's a one-person ship. Why do you need the extra living space? So I still would just recommend the base cutter for someone starting out of the game. So I don't know. Tell me your thoughts. What do you think of the other variants? I think the Rambler is neat. I don't see a use for it. What are your thoughts? Tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. I think I'm going to review the ship of the month, which is the RSI Scorpius. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good one. Bye-bye.